Hello everybody and welcome to our tutorial here on millwork. This is millwork for barkercabinets.com. If you go take a look, just go to barkercabinets.com and then click on the millwork tab. That's millwork and wood crown molding right there. Now we're going to be doing this tutorial on the crown molding itself. And what this tutorial is going to show you is basically how much room to leave above your cabinets, from the top of your cabinets to the bottom of the ceiling, and why we leave that much room. Very important. So to get started, I'm going to look at our different products here. We have a whole bunch of different ones, and obviously it depends on if you're going to run your cabinets up to the ceiling or not. So this tutorial will answer that question for you. Taking a look here at the very beginning, we have a very simple flat crown molding, and that's this one right here. Let's take a look. Now, simple flat crown molding it can be used in any application really. Now you can take this crown molding and put it above your cabinets and run it all the way up to the ceiling. It's adjustable in the height, so you can actually go from 2 inches all the way up to 9 inches. So quite a variance there. It just depends on how tall you want that crown molding to be. I'd usually recommend right around 4 inches or so, between 3 and 4. And the idea here is you can actually take this crown molding up to the ceiling. So you can actually leave, let's say you want the crown molding to be 4 inches tall from the bottom to the top. You would just leave 4 inches from the top of your cabinet to the underside of the ceiling for this crown molding itself. And that's pretty much the way all of our crown molding packages are designed. If you want anything up to the ceiling, you just leave the crown molding height, and then you can just leave that space above the cabinet to the bottom of the ceiling, and you'll be good to go. So let's move on to a little bit more of a complicated or more complex crown molding. Not really so much complicated as far as installation is concerned. It just looks more complicated. So here we go. Portland 2-piece crown molding, or the Shaker 2-piece crown molding. Both of these are roughly the same. That's this guy right here, as well as this guy right here. They're both roughly the same thing. They have a backer piece, and then they have a crown molding piece. So they're two separate pieces of millwork that are included in this one package. Okay, so you're going to have this crown molding piece and the backer piece. Now let's take a look at it in depth. So here's your flat crown piece, which is basically our backer, and then you have the crown molding piece. Now these pieces come separate, and what you're going to do is you're going to install this flat crown piece onto the top of each cabinet, or basically the length of cabinets. Say you have like 6 wall cabinets stacked, left to right, so one after another. You would just order a single 90-inch length and then cut it to size you need. You don't order like 6 separate pieces of crown molding. That wouldn't look right. So anyway, you want to be consistent, no seams in the middle, and then you go down and we order these things. You can order these things in 90-inch lengths. That's our standard. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing in the view. This crown molding is actually really good to go up to the ceiling. Now you can use this thing without going to the ceiling, without tying your cabinets to the ceiling. Or you can use it on a standalone where there's nothing above it. Either way works. This thing's designed to look good either way. So let's take a look at it in Cabinet Vision here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 2 wall cabinets. Let's just do a wall 2-door cabinet. Another wall 2-door cabinet. Ceiling height right now is at 108. So I'm going to just knock that down to 96. And I'm going to leave 4 inches of height. That's this guy right here. I'm going to leave 4 inches of height above the cabinets. So basically from the top of the cabinet to the underside of the ceiling. Now the cabinet height itself is going to need to be, I like to take my cabinets to an elevation of 54 inches from the top of the finished floor to the bottom of the cabinet. I like to make them 54 inches. Now right here I'm showing 57, so I'm going to increase the height of this guy by 3 inches. The 54 inches is good because it works well with your under cabinet light balance, and it also gives you a nice clearance from the countertop if you have base cabinets right here. Okay, so we have our crown molding 4 inches tall. I'm going to do this one right here. I'm going to add 3 inches. So we're at 38 inches tall for this this wall cabinet run. Got 2 cabinets side by side. Now, what I'm going to do is add a finished end onto the end of it. I'm just going to give you more of a comprehensive review here. This might be a little bit easier for you. Let's put a finished end on this side of it. And we're going to make it the same height as the wall cabinets themselves. So far, that's what we've done. Pretty easy. Now I'm going to add some crown molding up to the top. And putting the crown molding on, I am just going to set it back right there. This is all installed on site, but I can give you a really good view of what's going on right now by looking at it. So as you see here, I have a 4-inch tall, that's total height, crown molding, and I'm using the Portland crown. So I got a backer, it's about 3 inches tall, and there's going to be an inch gap. Let's see if I have a better view. So there's going to be about an inch gap from the ceiling to the top of this backer, and you want that. You want this crown molding piece to float up and down on this thing as the ceiling might have some waves in it. So for example, let's just say you install these cabinets perfectly level, and that's well within your ability. I mean, installing cabinets level is relatively easy. Now, when they build the house, the ceiling settles and it could be off. It might not be perfectly level. So if your ceiling is even off, let's just show you what a degree. That's -1 degree. That's what that line is. You can kind of see it right here. Not to say it's going to be that bad. It could be off. It could have waves in it. Typically, they're pretty good about doing it, but houses settle. Things happen. So you need to crown mold its 2 pieces, and that's where this design comes in. This crown mold is able to go up and down and follow the contour of that ceiling, as any waves or any sort of slants or anything like that are present. So that's the reason for the 2-piece. All right. So what you see there is a finished product here. So we got a finished end panel on the side of the wall cabinet. I got the crown backer and the crown molding above it, and that's tying right into the ceiling. So the ceiling would be right up here. And let's go through, and just for fun, I'm going to show you what this thing looks like in 3D. Okay, so it's rendering real quick. So basically, you can kind of see here, you got the face, the backer, it's exposed. You can have about an inch here. Now that can go up and down, and the reason why we want an inch for the backer face, the face of the backer being exposed, is the fact that it won't draw the eye if the crown molding has to travel down or travel up a little bit. It'll move around on the face of that backer, just up and down. It won't draw the eye. It's the best way we can design those things to make a nice looking cabinet project come to a reality. So, all right, so that's pretty much that one. That's the 2-piece. That works for both the Portland crown 2-piece as well as the shaker 2-piece crown molding. Now let's take a look at the one with a cap. Now this is a 3-piece crown molding. You got a backer piece, you got a crown molding, a cap up above it, and then you got your Portland crown molding. And obviously you can switch that out for the shaker crown molding or the Portland. Both of them are the same as far as sizing is concerned, just a little different profiles. So let's look at the Portland one here. Here's a real view of what it is. We got our crown cap, our backer, and the molding again. So what we did here, the only difference between this product and the last one we looked at is the fact that this backer actually goes up 4 inches. And what the idea is that you want the backer to be at the same height as the top of the crown molding, because you want the backer to basically support the cap. Now this application is really meant to be used when you have, say, a cabinet that goes up to, say, 96 inches and then there's nothing above it. It's not touching the ceiling. So for example, let's just say that this thing was at 108, the height of the ceiling. And when I say height of the ceiling, I mean this guy right there. So the ceiling's at 108. We drop our cabinets back down to 54. My favorite height. Excuse me. 54. Good. Okay, so I got my cabinets on there. I got my soffit. I got 16 inches of clearance up here. Okay, so I want to make dress this thing up a little bit. Now you can totally. There's absolutely no reason why you cannot use the 2-piece package in this application. It looks just fine. It actually looks pretty sweet. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if you want to go with just one step deeper, you want to put a little cap on there, impress all your friends when they come over for dinner. Let's do M Portland crown cap. It's going to look like this. Basically, it just adds another detail onto the top of it, increases the height just a little bit, and let's render that and let's see what this thing looks like. Sorry, my computer's a little bogged down with all the software on it. So, okay, so basically what we have here, we got the backer, the face is still exposed. You got a nice, perfect 1 inch. Then you got the crown molding itself being attached to the face of the backer, and then you got your cap up above it, and it just adds just a little bit more of a regal look to it. So, take it for what it is. I think it's a pretty nice look. I'd highly recommend using the cap if you're not going all the way up to the ceiling. But it is a little bit more work on installation because you do have to cut the cap as well as the crown molding, as well as the backers. There's 3 pieces to cut. It's 3-piece crown molding. So that's pretty much what that piece is, the backer and all those parts. Let's see, and that's pretty much it. So Portland crown cap as well as shaker crown cap, 2 of them. Very well done. So anyway, if you have any questions about that, feel free to give us a call or email, and hopefully that answers some questions about the spacing and stuff you need above your cabinets. So typically, general rule of thumb is leave 4 inches of space if you're going up to the ceiling. If you're not going up to the ceiling, you can pretty much leave as much space as you want. You know, just make a very grand crown and do whatever you want to there. All right. Thanks again. Have a great day.